ASMR Retro Forever. Hey guys, welcome back to ASMR Retro. As you can see, today is Retro's Q&A numero 50, which means 5 in case you don't know. So, as always, if you have a question and you want me to answer in the next Q&A video, please leave it in the comments below, and I will be sure to include it. Alright, so the last video we left off at question number 34, so now we are on 34. Where did I get that from? 63. Now we are on 64. Wow, off to a great start with the numbering. Okay, so number 64. And the question is from SHAKERTurtle 77, Shaker Turtle 77, and they ask, were you able to play newer Nintendo games, example Breath of the Wild, and if so, do you enjoy it more than the classics? So, question is, new Nintendo games. I'm paraphrasing the question here. Better than classics. So my answer to that is, I haven't had a chance to play the Nintendo Switch yet. I really want to play it though. Breath of the Wild looks amazing. Same with Mario Odyssey. That's for the Switch, right? Yeah, I think so. The last Nintendo console I owned actually was GameCube. Well, I did own the Wii briefly, but not long enough to say that I really owned it. But I did play it, a few times here and there at friends' houses as well, which I do like. Mario Galaxy. That was really good. I played that a little bit. But yeah, for the GameCube, I liked the Zelda games on there. They had Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I thought were great. The Metroid games I thought were great. I didn't like Mario Sunshine all that much. But yeah, briefly, or to sum it up, I do like the newer Nintendo stuff, of which I haven't played too much, I'll be honest, of the more recent stuff, but from what I see, it looks pretty good, and I would like to play it. Do I like the classic stuff better? It's hard to say if I like it better or not. It's just different. I like them both for different reasons. You know what I mean? I get different enjoyment out of it. Obviously, the classic stuff, there's a nostalgia factor there, which is a big thing, but the newer games, you like it for different reasons. They're obviously better graphics and all that, and you get a much bigger adventure. The older games, you have to use your imagination a lot, whereas the newer games, they just present this big adventure to you. You don't have to really think. You have to think, but you don't have to use your imagination as much. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just a different experience. So my answer to that is, I'll just say not much. So in other words, I haven't played much of the newer stuff. I like both. For different reasons. Okay. Alright, ShakerTurtle 77, thank you for the question. I don't know if you can read that color at all. I don't know if it's showing up well on camera, but hope you enjoyed the answer. Okay. Question number 65. 65 is from Jacob. specific game developers, like individuals. I guess I follow. I don't know if follows. No, I don't know if that's the right word, but I follow more, I guess, specific companies. So obviously Nintendo, and then like Rare back in the day on the N64 days and like the SNES days, was an awesome company making classic games like Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, GoldenEye, all that stuff, and even the Donkey Kong Country games on the SNES. And I believe it's the same Rare that developed Battletoads for the NES, which is one of my favorite games. So they're one of my favorite developers. ID Software, of course, they do the Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein games. Bethesda for Fallout 3, or the Fallout series, and the, what do you call it, the Skyrim series, or Elder Scrolls series. But also like indie developers, and hobbyist developers. Even though I don't know any specific indie developers off the top of my head, I do admire what they do, especially hobbyists. Like just doing it for the fun of it, because I've done a bit of that myself and I know how hard it is. But people just do it for a hobby. I have a lot of respect for that, because it shows they have a lot of love for what they do. Not that the people who work for the big companies don't, but of course, you know, there's money involved and it's a little bit different. But so yeah, write something. Did I say Nintendo? Rare. What else did I say? ID. Bethesda. I think that's how you spell it. I'll have to do a spell check after this. Although it'd be kind of late for that. Indie and hobby. Hobbyists. That looks wrong, but anyways, whatever. Spelling is not my strong suit. Okay. So thanks, Jacob. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it very much. So let's go to number 66. And number 66 is from Cheater. VERMIERO. I gotta get the capitalization correct. VERMIERO. So Cheater asks, did you ever watch Beavis and Butthead growing up? Beavis and Butthead. And my answer is hell yeah. I guess I was a teenager when I watched that show, and I loved it. If people don't know, Beavis and Butthead is an animated show that was on MTV in the 90s, I guess, and it's these two teenagers, and they're kind of like stoners, but doesn't show them ever like smoke or nothing, but they're just, you know, their only interest in the world is like nachos, girls, and heavy metal, and that's it. That's their only concerns, right? It's a pretty controversial show for its time. Like Beavis, he was kind of obsessed with fire, and he would be like, fire, fire, fire. And then some kid apparently burnt his house down or something, and they blamed Beavis and Butthead, and it was a big controversy, but and it's controversial for other reasons as well. But yeah, I always enjoyed watching that show, being around the same age as the characters in the show. And you know, they would show their daily lives or whatever. It was kind of like grounded somewhat in reality. It wasn't like crazy far-out adventures. And then they would cut to like music videos, because it was on MTV. I guess they would have these segments where they would just watch music videos and kind of not really rate them, but just give their opinions or whatever. Like they'll make fun of a song if it sucks, and if they like it, they'll like start headbanging and stuff. So they're kind of like the original React videos, you know, which is pretty funny too. Like, but sometimes I'd get offended if they made fun of a band that I liked, you know what I mean? But whatever, it was great stuff. And I remember I bought the eventually, like I used to tape it on VHS, but eventually I bought it on DVD a couple of the seasons, and I was kind of disappointed because they removed all the music videos. I guess maybe it was too expensive to get the rights from all the different artists. Maybe, I don't know, but it just didn't feel the same without the music videos. But yeah. So to answer your question, I did watch it and I love it, and I think they brought it back a while ago, didn't they? Like with actual new episodes, which was pretty awesome. I watched a few and I was like, this is just like the original. I can't remember if they had music videos in it though. But anyways, so Beavis and Butthead. Yes, with a big exclamation point. Alright, so thank you, cheater. Good question. Alright, let me consult my list here. I'm getting through these pretty quick. Gotta slow down, Retro. Didn't have that many questions this time. Okay. 67. Let's pick blue. No, let's pick pink. 67. Okay, it is by dimantknight. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but DIMAN Knight. KNIGHT. Oh, and there's an A at the end. Okay. So they want to know, what is your favorite? No, wait, that's not the wrong person. Okay, which is your favorite Transformers movie? Transformers movie. Well, my favorite would be the animated 1986 Transformers movie by far. But I'm assuming maybe you're talking about the live action ones. And I wasn't the biggest fan of those, I'll be honest with you, but I did enjoy the first one to a certain degree. Not for the reasons I wanted to enjoy it, but it was an enjoyable movie, I guess, and that's the one I liked the best, although I haven't seen much of them. I saw the second one, I thought was not as good as the first, and then the third one, I thought was crap. I'll be honest with you, like, I can't really judge it, really, because I saw it on a plane, and I could only get through like half an hour of it. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, I can't even watch this anymore. So I don't know, for some reason I couldn't get into it. Maybe it's not that bad if I give it a try, but yeah. And I hope I'm not sounding too harsh on the new trends. Oh, actually, I want to see the Bumblebee movie. I haven't seen that one yet. I kind of have some interest in seeing that. I've heard mixed things on it, but I want to check it out. So the answer would be 1986 animated movie. Alright, thanks, Diamond A. I appreciate your question. Okay, next up is number 68. And number 68 is from Alex Flex. Now, there's a simple name. And Alex wants to know, what do you think of the new Star Wars trilogy? Oh, wait a minute. I skipped one. Sorry, Alex. Hold on. We'll get back to you. You know what? I don't want to screw it up. Okay. I'll get back to you in a sec, Alex. 68 was actually Huma Guma. Huma Guma. Hey, Huma. Guma. And Huma wants to know, what is your favorite Metallica song of all time? And what do you think about Hardwired to Self-Destruct? The first question, what my favorite Metallica song? I started thinking about it. I started thinking about all the albums and stuff, because it's not an easy question to answer. And I'm like, you know what, this would be a good idea for a video. So I promise I'll make a video answering that question. But the second part, what do I think of Hardwired to Self-Destruct? So a while back I showed all my Metallica CDs and I gave some opinions about them. I didn't cover that album because for some reason I didn't think I had a physical copy of it. But the other day I was looking through my things and I actually realized I do have a physical copy of it. Just very briefly, I do like this album a lot. It's probably their best album since the Black Album. Just good, solid Metallica. Came out in 2016. It's been that long. Wow. But anyways, yeah, I think it's a really good album. The best song is definitely Spit Out the Bone. That could have been on, an early Metallica album, easily. I do have some criticisms of it, though, although, it's been a long time since I've heard it, so maybe I can't really criticize it too much. But what I remember being the worst thing about the album were the solos. It just feels like Kirk didn't really try at all in this album. It sounds like he just showed up in the studio without even hearing the songs and he just improvised. I'm not saying that's what he did, but that's what it sounded like. But I don't know, maybe he didn't have the motivation to come up with anything interesting, but that's my main criticism of the album. But I do like the album a lot, oh yeah, I forgot to write the question. So, fave Metallica song. And the second part was Hardwired. The answer is coming soon, because I'll make a video about that. And the second part, I would say, great album, bad solos. And you know what, if you disagree, if you think the solos are good, that's fine too. We all have our opinions. It's all just a matter of opinion. It's all subjective. And speaking of subjective, now we get to Alex Felix's question. The controversy will be strong in this one. Oh, Alex Flex, not Alex Felix, sorry. So Alex Flex wants to know, what do you think of the new Star Wars trilogy? So, new Star Wars trilogy. Well, I thought, okay, I'll go movie by movie. So episode 7, I thought was okay. The effects were good, visually it was good. I liked the new characters. I don't care, like, people complain, oh my god, Rey is a female main character. I don't care about, like, that. I don't have a problem with that. I thought she was a good character. What's his name? Finn, I thought was cool. I thought there was a lot of potential there in terms of where these characters were going to go. And Kylo Ren was kind of a little bit too emo for me, but he was still interesting, I guess. I want to see where that would go as well. It just kind of felt like, though, that they were retelling the whole original story over again in a new way. Which I would rather see something new, something different, you know what I mean? But whatever, I thought it was okay. It was enjoyable. Episode 8, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest. They pretty much much destroyed Luke Skywalker's character. You know, I don't think anybody really wanted to see Luke like that. We wanted to see him kick ass, basically, right? And he had that fight with Kylo, fine, but it was kind of lame. It was a Force Ghost or whatever it was, hologram, I don't know, but the fight itself wasn't that good. It was kind of crappy, in my opinion. And then, you know, eventually they kill Snoke, so randomly, in the second one, yeah, spoiler alert, but, and then I was like, that's when I realized, like, okay, it seems like this trilogy has no direction whatsoever, like, where are they going? Comparing it to the original, after Empire Strikes Back, you're like, holy crap, now I gotta see the next one, but this one was just like, okay, what's the next one even about, who cares, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but yeah, I was very disappointed in the second one, the episode 8. Episode 9, I thought was entertaining. You know, it had good special effects, very nostalgic. You know, like when it was cool to see like the destroyed Death Star, to see the remains of it and all that stuff. That was good. Obviously, they were playing on the nostalgia factor a lot, which you could also criticize them for that. Once again, they're not doing too much new stuff, and then they had to recycle the Emperor. But it's still, like, there was nowhere else they can go with that story, right? I think that's the only thing they could have done to finish it off, because they kind of screwed it up in episode 8, in my opinion. So when I saw it, episode 9 in the theater, I enjoyed it a lot. But then when I saw it later on TV, I was like, oh, this is not as good as it felt in the theater, which always kind of happens with movies. But anyways, so overall, I would just say it's meh. You know, it's not, I mean, if you look at the prequels, I watched like episode 1 and 2 after that. I'm like, oh, I mean, again, I've already seen them before, but watching it again, I'm like, holy, these are pretty bad too. Like, I don't know which are worse, but episode 3 was good. But anyways, now I'm just rambling, so I'll just summarize by saying meh. But again, that's my opinion. If you like them, hey, that's fine. I don't really care. You do you. I know some people get really upset about these kinds of things. Alright, we got a fresh new page here for a fresh new question. So this is question number, let me adjust this mic up a second. Okay, that's better. This is question number 70. And it is from CT the Gamer 2.0. And they ask, do you still watch wrestling? If so, who's your favorite wrestler? So, still watch wrestling. And fave wrestler? Question mark. Okay. I usually just watch the pay-per-views, or whatever you call them now, the monthly events. I used to watch, like, back in the day, the Attitude Era, I'd watch like every single Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and everything, but it's kind of hard to watch now. I mean, who can sit through a 3-hour Raw? Maybe, like, on average, if I do catch any of Raw, I'll watch for like literally 5 minutes. It's about all I can take. It's kind of hard, especially without an audience now. It's just not the same, you know. And I'm not really digging these cinematic matches they do now. Like, I like the one at WrestleMania with Taker and AJ, but the Bray Wyatt ones are kind of not very good, you know. Or even the what did they have, the Money in the Bank, where they had to go to the top of Titan Tower? That was crap. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. But in terms of who's my favorite wrestler now, well, okay, I'll say my favorite. Oh, sorry. Other thing I want to say was I do watch NXT whenever I can. Oh, that's probably my favorite wrestling show on TV now. Definitely pretty good. I mean, still without the audience, it definitely hurts it, but I like NXT the best for sure. wrestler of all time, I guess, would be The Undertaker. Since I was a young teenager, it was kind of one of the reasons I started watching wrestling again. Because, I watched as a little kid, and then I stopped, and then, Undertaker kind of got me back into it. But in terms of current wrestlers, it's hard to say. Some wrestlers I really like are Keith Lee. I think he has a lot of potential. Adam Cole's amazing. Rhea Ripley, I think, is pretty awesome. And as a wrestler, I haven't seen too much of his stuff, but what I seen I loved was Walter. He wrestles, or I saw him wrestle in the UK NXT. I think he's supposed to be from Austria. I don't know if he really is, but I haven't seen him now. I guess with COVID, I don't even know if they're filming NXT UK anymore. But yeah, he's pretty awesome too. But anyways, overall, of all time, I would say probably Taker. I would have to say is my favorite. So, answer, still watch wrestling. I'll say just PPVs, or whatever you call them. And favorite wrestler of all time would be Undertaker. Alright, CT the Gamer 2.0. Thank you for your question. Next up is number 71, and we will go to the color pink. And number 71, and it is from Lepus 1. And I made a note here. I don't know if you change your profile picture, but you had a picture of a Gecko demon, but it was kind of funny. It always makes me laugh when I see that, but just wanted to make that note. But they want to know, do you collect games? And if you do, what's your rarest? Collect games. What's rarest game? I don't really collect games anymore. Actually, I did a video a while back, my video game history, where I go over all the consoles that I owned and stuff, but there was a period where I did collect games a lot. And I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or something, I ended up getting rid of a lot of my collection. Now I only really have my NES game collection. I might get back into it. I'm kind of interested in homebrew games. Like, there's people making not hacks but games, like new games for Nintendo, and like the NES, and it comes with like an instruction manual and all that stuff. So I'm kind of getting into that, and I'll talk about that in future videos. But yeah, I don't really collect games anymore. And what was the second one? Okay, my rarest game. Again, I didn't really collect games for their rarity. Like, I would just collect games that I wanted to play and keep in my collection, but I never really was like, oh, this is a rare game, I gotta get it or whatever. I might have had rare stuff and not really known that it was rare. But one thing that comes to mind, which is maybe it's not rare, but so I had a lot of N64 games at one point, complete with manual and the box and everything, great condition, and I sold most of them. But the one that fetched the most amount of money by far was Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I'm not sure why. Like, I think it was going for like $200 with a box and manual and everything, and I ended up selling mine for like $180, even though it was like crisp condition, like very rare, quote unquote rare to find games in that good condition. But I wish I didn't sell it, to be honest with you. But yeah, and like even Legend of Zelda was going for like $80, so I'm not sure why it was so much more. I don't know if it was rare or what, but yeah, so maybe Conquer was rare, but again, I don't really know, and I don't know today what it's going for, if it's going for more or less, but that'd be interesting to know. So answer is, do I collect games? Not this one. Thank you for your question. Okay, now we're gonna go to number 72 and good old blue. And this question is by the upper echelon. The upper echelon. And they want to know, have you ever watched the show Jojo's Bizarre Adventure? And if so, who is your favorite character? I'll just say Jojo's. I'll just say Jojo's instead of writing it all out. And fave character. Okay, so answer. I haven't, but I've heard about that show a lot, and to be honest with you, in my mind I thought it was like some kid show. Like I imagined it being like some kind of Ren and Stimpy cartoony thing or something. Why does a cartoon, but you know what I mean? But I looked it up on YouTube. I was like, oh, this actually looks pretty cool. And I saw this video of this guy made. He's like, why you should watch Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. And I was pretty surprised, and I have to admit, it interested me. So I think I will check it out. Yeah. So and since I haven't seen this show, I can't really tell you who my favorite character is. But so I'll say no. But I will watch. Alright, so that was kind of a short one, but I thank you nonetheless, upper echelon. I will check it out. Okay, so now we're on orange. And it's question number 73 by Michael. Michael Gilley. Not sure which way to pronounce it, but so Michael wants to know, what's your favorite RPG game? Fave RPG. It's hard to say. I mean, if you ask me tomorrow, I might give you a different answer. It's the kind of thing that my opinion is always changing, and maybe somebody asked this already in a Q&A, and I gave a different answer there. So, bear with me if I do that. But I would just probably say Dragon Warrior, also known as Dragon Quest for the NES. I know it's not the best RPG, but it was the first RPG that I played. Unless you count Zelda as an RPG, which it isn't a pure RPG, I don't think. But yeah, I would say Dragon Warrior. I have the most fond childhood memories with Dragon Warrior, and it really introduced me into the RPG, turn-based type RPG type of gameplay. So, and for more modern, I guess the Fallout series, in particular Fallout 3, that was the first Bethesda game I played of that style. After that I ended up playing, Oblivion and Skyrim and stuff like that, but that was my introduction into that world, and I loved it. So for a modern game, I would say Fallout, more modern game would be Fallout 3. So you have to understand, anything after like 1998 I consider modern. But anyways, I would say Dragon Warrior, and Fallout the third. Alright, thanks Michael. Thank you for your question. Now it's number 74. And those things where I'll always change my mind based on what day you ask me. Some of my favorites would be Alien, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Shining, just to name a few. But I would say, I have to mention Day of the Dead, the original, and Dawn of the Dead are two of my favorites as well. But really, I'd have to pick the movie that influenced me the most in many ways is Return of the Living Dead. It's a zombie movie, obviously. That's maybe not so scary, but just really well made. I mean, I saw it when I was a kid. It was scary when I was a kid, but I don't know, it just influenced my view on zombies, and because of that, I ended up making, like, as a kid, drawing like these little zombie comics and like making zombie home movies with my brother and my friends. So yeah, that definitely influenced me a lot. So yeah, I'll go with Return of the Living Dead. But again, you ask me tomorrow, I might have a different answer. So for now, it is Return of the Living Dead. And I want to review that for Halloween, or like in October when I make up Halloween-based videos. I'll probably review that in my way where I draw a comic version of it. But anyways, we'll get there. So thanks, Goldman77. I think we have a couple questions left. Number 75 is from ASMR Bro, and he asks, are you from the Midwest / Canada? Midwest Canada. And that's a simple one. The answer is yes, I am from Canada. I usually don't, give any details on myself, but I think I've mentioned that before, that I am from Canada. So, yeah, and I'm just wondering why, like, some people ask that, and like, is there an accent that I have or something, or certain words that I say that gives it away? Besides the fact that I have mentioned it here and there, but obviously if you asked, you didn't hear me mention it. But anyway, yes, from Canada. Yes. From Canada. Alright, ASMR Bro, thanks for asking. And now we go to the last question for today, number 76. And this is another question from Cheater VERMIERO. And they ask, what is your favorite guitar company / guitar model? So I'll just put fave guitar. So I'm not really an expert on the subject. To be honest with you, I would just base this on how cool I thought the guitars looked, and that's something I used to pay attention to a lot when I was younger. But now I don't really, when I just listen to music, I don't really watch videos much anymore. So I don't even know what like newer guitars look like, to be honest. I mean, I do it to some degree, but so based on that, probably one of the first guitars I noticed that and how cool they looked and stuff were Jackson guitars, because I remember seeing like Metallica and Megadeth use them, not exclusively, but Megadeth used to use them pretty much exclusively. But yeah, so I always thought those are really cool looking guitars. BC Rich makes some pretty sweet looking guitars. Ibanez, I like to. Maybe not so much for how they look, but because a lot of my favorite Guitar Heroes use them. Like, pretty sure, and I could be wrong, going from memory here, but I'm pretty sure Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and I think Jason Becker used them here and there. I don't know. That was a long time ago, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I think any decent guitar with the software and processing they have today, you can make it sound like pretty much any other guitar. Like, you can make it sound pretty good unless you're like a really expert at like music and stuff like that. You probably can get away with not the greatest guitar if you're recording an album. That's what I think. Anyway, for like the untrained ear, I don't think the guitar matters as much today. I mean, it matters much more the skill of the player, the level of, not the level, but the type of processing, like the studio stuff that they use, the producer and all that will, in my opinion, influence the sound more than the type of guitar. But I don't know, again, I'm not an expert. But yeah, the short answer, I guess, would be I'll just put Jackson.